All right, so this is an example STAAR prompt. Okay, something that you might see that's similar to what's going to be on your STAAR test. You'll be writing an expository essay this year. And this is related to The Outsiders. Okay, I say related because if you read through it or if you've already looked at it, you'll notice that there's no mention of The Outsiders, but it does relate to the themes in The Outsiders. Okay, so first of all, what does expository mean? What is an expository essay? Okay, not necessarily a story though. Expository means to explain. If you want to write that down. Really? Yep, to explain or to tell about a topic. Okay, we're not telling a story. We're not trying to persuade or convince anyone to do a certain thing. Okay, we're just trying to explain. Now, I'm sure you probably recognize this format. Okay, STAAR hasn't changed much over the last few years, so that last time that y'all wrote in 7th grade, your prompt probably looked very similar to this. This is pretty much what your essay prompt is going to look like on the STAAR test this year as well. You're going to have this read statement, this think statement, and this write statement, and then you're going to have some tips at the bottom. Okay? No, just this year, next year. So when you see a prompt like this, okay, and some of you have probably already done this, but what I suggest that you do is that you ignore the read statement and the think statement and you go directly to the write statement. Okay? So if you've already read this stuff, that's fine, but if you haven't, don't. Okay? We're going to go directly to the write statement. It says, write an essay explaining your definition of a true friendship. Okay? Underline or highlight that. Okay, why do you think I had you go directly to that sentence first? That's what you're doing. This is your prompt. Okay, this other stuff is just extra. It's just there to help you think or to help you start thinking in the right direction or give you ideas, but it's not your actual prompt. Okay, this is the basis of your essay. Your essay needs to be about your definition of a true friendship. Okay, that's your prompt. Okay, this other stuff, you've got a quote up here that says, don't walk behind me, I may not lead. Don't walk in front of me, I may not follow. Just walk beside me and be my friend. Okay, so that's a quote related to friendship, right? Okay, and then you've got this think statement. Think carefully about the following statement. What is the best way to maintain a strong friendship? Okay, now this often might confuse some people. Okay, because it says, what is the best way to maintain a strong friendship? That is not the basis of your essay. Do not write your essay about that. In fact, if you read this sentence right here and you think, okay, I can write about that, don't even worry about the other stuff. Just ignore it and move on. Okay, because all it's there to do is to kind of get you thinking in the right direction. But this statement here, this question, often can throw us off. So if you want to just ignore this, you can. Okay, because right here is what your essay needs to be about, your definition of a true friendship. Okay, everybody good with that? So that's what we're writing about, your definition of a true friendship. Okay, so once we know what the prompt is, the first step would be to kind of do some brainstorming. Okay, so what I suggest you do, what I'm going to tell you on every essay, is that you brainstorm as many ideas as you can, but then you pick, that says brainstorm, and then you pick your 2 best ideas. Okay, and I'll explain why 2 in just a second. Okay, so let's go ahead and brainstorm. So what are we writing our essay about? What are we focusing on? Definition of a true friendship. Okay, so let's brainstorm some ideas. What are some things, some words, some phrases that you think you associate with a true friendship? Loyalty. Honesty. Okay, write these down. Loyalty, honesty. What? What else? Kindness. What else? What else is part of being a true friend? Okay. What else? What do you expect from your true friends? What do you hope that you as a true friend are to other people? What do you expect from your friends? Loyalty, honesty, kindness, trust. There's got to be more. Okay. What else? Respect. What else? Do you want someone who is always there? Dependable? What else? Do you want somebody who has similar interests, or does it matter?
I feel like it matters. No.
No?
No.
Okay.
I was gonna say I feel like it matters. What?
What else?
No.
What are some other things you look for in a true friendship, or you think a true friendship should have? Is having somebody that'll stand up for you important? Having each other's backs? Anything else that you want to add to this list? Anything that you think makes up a true friendship? What about someone who listens? Okay, anything else? Okay, so now we're going to pick, and we're just all going to use the same two ideas for this one. Okay, that way this makes it easier on just getting you through the process. Okay, we're all going to do the same two ideas. I want everybody to tell me what you think the best 2 or 3 ideas from this list are. Okay, so when I say best, I mean the ones that you could talk more about, that you could explain more, that you could write a paragraph about, that you could use, think of an example for, the ones that you could support the best. Which are the 2, or maybe the 2 that you think are the 2 most important?
Honesty and trust.
Okay.
Loyalty.
Loyalty and trust. Honesty, loyalty and trust. Okay.
Heck yeah, bro. Jack.
Or do loyalty, because loyalty, or like half of us can go with loyalty.
And trust.
Okay. Having each other's backs, you can kind of tie into loyalty.
Yeah.
Right? Honesty and trust, those kind of go together.
Love.
Love, I think that's kind of assumed in all of them. Right? Okay, so do we want to do honesty or trust?
Trust.
Okay, but then you can tie in honesty with trust. I think those kind of go together. Okay, so circle loyalty and trust if you haven't already. Okay, so those are the 2 ideas we're going to go with. Okay, again, if this was your essay that you were writing on your own, you can pick whatever you want as long as it's supportable. But for this example, we're going to do the same ones together. Okay, so loyalty and trust. So now that you have those 2 options chosen, turn the page to your bubble map. Okay? Yes. Okay, this bubble map you are going to become very familiar with over the next few months. Okay, this is what we are going to use every time we do a practice essay. This is what you're going to use. Okay, because on actual STAAR test day, you will have a copy of this available to you. Okay, it'll look exactly like this. It'll be blank, won't have any words on it, but you'll be practiced enough with it that you know exactly what should go where. Okay, that's how we're practicing it today. Okay, so let me explain the different parts of this. Now, what do you think goes in the middle? The topic. Okay, this is the right statement. Remember that thing we circled and underlined? Okay, this is the basis of your essay, the topic. Okay, and then up here, this paragraph or this circle is for your intro, your introductory paragraph. Okay, this asterisk here stands for your thesis, which we will talk about in a second. Okay, or your thesis statement. Okay, this bubble over here is body paragraph number 1. Whoops. Body paragraph number 1. This down here is body paragraph. Why do I keep doing that? Body paragraph number 2. Okay. And then this bubble down here is your conclusion. Okay, and these asterisks mean they tell you, remind you to have a thesis statement. So this is going to be, you're going to restate your thesis. Okay. All right, these lines here are your supporting details. Okay, so you've got supporting detail, and then this one's going to be an example, which we'll talk more about in a second. And all of those support this body paragraph. Okay. And then these here are supporting details and examples for this paragraph. Okay, so ultimately, if you do a good job filling out this bubble map, you have pretty much your whole essay planned out right here. And then you can just go put it in sentence form on your lined paper, or if you want to do some sort of outline or rough draft. But remember, this is a timed test, so we want to make sure we get through these steps as quickly as possible. Okay, so those are the different parts of the bubble map. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So what should go in the middle? What was the topic? What is the basis, main idea of our essay? What about, more specifically, not just friendship, what does the prompt say? Your definition of a true friendship. Okay, that's the basis of our essay, the topic that we want everything in our essay to tie back to support. Okay, so in our introduction, let's go to our introduction first. In our introduction, we're going to have 2 parts. We're going to have some sort of hook. What is a hook? Grabs your reader's attention. Okay, we're going to leave that blank for now because I think we need to know what our essay is going to have in it first before we know how to hook our reader. Okay, so we're going to leave the hook blank. But we can write a thesis statement. Okay, now what is a thesis statement? Can anybody tell me? Anybody know what a thesis statement is? If you don't know, you're going to learn quickly because we're going to talk about them a lot. Okay, thesis statement is your specific main idea to your specific essay. Okay, it's your answer to whatever this topic is. Okay, so we're going to include what in it? What 2 things are we going to include in our thesis statement? Based on what we did in our brainstorming. Our two big ideas, right? Loyalty, what did we decide? Loyalty and trust. Okay, so we're going to write a sentence that answers the prompt but includes our 2 main ideas. So my thesis statement is going to say something like, nope, that's not right. My definition of a true friendship. So I've addressed the prompt, the right statement specifically. Okay, it ties directly here. My definition of a true friendship is having a friend, you can say a friend or friends, who is loyal and, okay, we can't say who is loyal and trust. What can we say? Who is loyal and trustworthy. Okay, we could word this differently. That's just kind of how I've chosen to go about it. You could say, my definition of a true friendship is a friendship that includes or that is shows loyalty and trust. Okay, you could word it a little bit differently, but it's still covering those two main ideas, right? So my definition of a true friendship is having a friend who is loyal and trustworthy. Okay, so let's go to our body paragraphs now. So there's our thesis statements. That's the basis of our specific essay. Body paragraph 1 needs to be about what? What needs to go in this bubble? What is our first main idea? Loyalty. So loyalty goes here. Okay, what goes down here in our second body paragraph? Trust. So notice how we included those two ideas in our thesis. They have to tie back to our two body paragraphs. Okay, these two things have to be supported and mentioned in our thesis. Everything in our essay ties back to our thesis now, which is how a true friendship must include loyalty and trust. Okay, so supporting details. This is going to be kind of like you're going to list 2 reasons why loyalty is important. Okay, why is loyalty important in a friendship? Why do you want a loyal friend? What were some of those other things we talked about including in loyalty, like tying together? Having each other's backs, and wasn't there another one? Being dependable, always there. All those things can kind of tie in, okay? So we could say something here about friends should have each other's backs and support each other in good and bad. Okay, these are just notes. This is not going to be exactly what we write in our essay. These are just kind of getting us thinking, getting us our ideas down. Okay, we'll write this in a more concise, effective way when we get to our actual essay. These are just getting our ideas down. So I said loyalty is important because friends should always have each other's backs and they should support each other in good and bad. Okay, now, when it comes to examples, one of the biggest things that gets points added or taken away when it comes to STAAR essays, or any essay really, writing in general, is being able to support your ideas with examples. Okay, now when we talk about examples, we use something called HELP. I'm going to put it up here. Okay, HELP. Okay, and the reason we call it is it helps your essay be better. It helps support your essay, but HELP stands for historical. E stands for current event. Current events. L stands for literary. And P stands for personal. Okay, so those are the 4 types of support, 4 types of examples that you could include in your essay. Historical, current events, literary, or personal. Okay, now I'll be honest. I would much rather you use one of these 3 than this one. Okay, if you cannot think of a historical example or a current event or a literary example, then personal is better than nothing. Okay, but one of these other types is a better choice if you can come up with one. Okay, but again, don't write a paragraph without an example. If all you can come up with is a personal example, don't just skip it. You need an example. You have to have an example of some sort. But the other options, try to choose one of those other options before you choose a personal one. But a personal one is okay if that's all you can come up with. Make sense? Okay, for this specific essay, what do you think I want you to use?
The outsiders.
The outsiders, which would be what type? Literary. So for this specific example, I want you to use The Outsiders, okay, as your examples. Why? Because examples in The Outsiders, there's a ton of them about friendship, right? The whole book, one of the main themes we talked about is friendship, right? So there's lots of things that we can tie to this. Now, there's probably, honestly, The Outsiders is a really good book to remember for future essays because there's probably something in The Outsiders that you could tie to any topic, okay? But any book you've read, any story you've heard, poem, whatever, okay? That would be a literary example. Anything from history would be historical. Anything going on in the world recently, a current event that you could tie into the topic, okay? A personal story, again, is okay to use, but one of the other ones would be better, okay? So for this specific essay, I want you to use literary and use The Outsiders, okay? So let's think of an example. Can anybody think of an example from The Outsiders that shows why loyalty is an important trait of a true friendship? How are they loyal? What is an example of how loyalty is important?
Like, they're like getting jumped over.
When Pony Boy was getting jumped,
Okay.
they all came to have fun with him.
Okay, so when Pony Boy gets jumped, the whole gang, greasers, come to his rescue, right? Okay, that would be a good example. Really, I mean, you could use a lot of different examples. The one I kind of thought of was when Johnny and Pony Boy, after they stab Bob, or Johnny stabs Bob when they call Dally. Dally immediately comes to their rescue and gives them money, gives them a place to stay, gives them a plan. When they all stand up for Johnny, when he, they kind of take care of him. They're very loyal to Johnny. Okay, anything would work, but this is a good example too. Okay, so why is loyalty important? Friends should always have each other's backs. They should support each other in the good and the bad. And then our example can be that when Pony Boy gets jumped in The Outsiders, the whole gang, I'll change that to the whole gang comes to his rescue. Okay, make sense? So that's kind of the basis of our first paragraph. Got most of our main ideas, our details for our first paragraph done. Okay, easy peasy. Now let's go to the second one. Okay, trust. Why is trust important in a friendship? What can be our supporting details? Okay, so you should be able to trust your friends with your problems or secrets. Okay, we talked about also how we might tie in honesty. Okay, so honesty and trust kind of go hand in hand. Can we tie that into our second detail here? What do you expect from your friends, or what do you think a friend should be when it comes to honesty, dealing with the idea of trust? Should your friends always should you trust your friends to always be honest with you, to always give their honest opinion? Yes? Okay. So you should trust your friends to always be honest. Trust your friends with your problems and secrets. Okay, so let's think of an example from The Outsiders. Is there any example you can think of that shows why trust or honesty? Okay. Okay, so they trust Dally to help them in that situation. Dally helps Johnny and Pony Boy, PB&J, when they stab Bob. Okay, what comes to mind when I think of this one, and again, there's lots of different things you can include, but what came to mind when we said this one, friends should always be honest, is when Johnny, remember at the movies when Johnny kind of tells Dally off about the girls, tells Dally to treat the girls better or to leave the girls alone. Y'all remember that part, Cherry and Marcia? You know, you should be able to trust your friends to be honest with you and tell you that you're being a jerk when you're being a jerk, right? And not get mad at them about it, right? Something like that. That's what came to mind when I thought of this one. But again, lots of different examples you can use, and none of them are going to be wrong as long as it ties into the idea of why trust is important. All right, everybody good so far? Everybody understand how this works? Okay, so really all we have left is our hook and our conclusion. Okay, we've got our thesis statement, which is honestly the most important part of your essay. Okay, we've got our support for our thesis, loyalty, our two main ideas, loyalty and trust. We've got our details and examples for both main ideas. Okay, so now let's flip to the next page. Okay, what I've given you now is kind of an outline. Now, you will get the blank bubble map on test day. You won't get anything like this. You'll get the blank bubble map, you'll get some scratch paper, and then you'll get some lined paper like you see at the end of the packet, okay, which is where your actual essay is going to go. I gave you this today because I feel like this will kind of help you organize your essay, take your ideas from the bubble map, put them in before you start writing your actual essay on the paper, okay? This is something that you can use on test day. You can do this on your own if you'd like to, okay, but you won't be actually given this outline. Also keep in mind that this is a time test, okay? You've got all the multiple choice plus the essay to write in 5 hours, okay, which is a lot of time. But if you spend too much time on planning and rewriting and erasing and changing your mind and starting over and rough drafts, then that gets time consuming. We want to be able to get in there, brainstorm, get our bubble map together, put our ideas together and start writing and be done. Okay? And you only have to write 26 lines. It's not very long. That's why we only choose 2 main ideas. It's not a very long essay. Okay? All right, so let's go ahead and look at the outline. So the first thing is your hook. Now, we haven't talked about this yet. A hook is something to grab your reader's attention, okay? And something that I suggest that you use is called a truism, okay? And you probably in the past in junior high maybe were taught to use a question, to start your essay with a question, okay? That's not a great idea to use in high school. That's kind of an elementary, kind of lower level writing, okay? If it's all you can think of, then it's probably okay, but this method, this truism method, is a lot better, okay? A truism is a general, true statement about life that can kind of apply to anybody, kind of a universal statement, kind of like a theme, okay? So like something like, failure is never easy to experience, okay? That's a truism, okay? You should not judge people by their appearances. That's a truism, okay? So you try to think of a statement like that that has to do with your topic, then you can kind of tie it in and make it more specific when you write your thesis statement, okay? So a truism for friendship, okay, might be something like, true friends are hard to find. Is that a fairly true statement? True friends are hard to find?
Yes.
Okay. Sometimes maybe, but that would be a truism, something that people could apply to their lives that they could relate to. Okay, true friends are hard to find. But then we have our thesis that says, my definition of a true friendship is having a friend who is loyal and trustworthy. So we want to tie that truism with our thesis. Okay, so maybe we need one sentence in between. So maybe we say something like, however, when found, true friends can be very rewarding. Okay, so it's kind of two truisms. But just a general statement, and then try to kind of tie it back to the prompt about true friendship. Okay, so that would be our first 2 sentences of our essay. And then we put our thesis. So then we would go on to say, my definition of a true friendship is having a friend who is loyal and trustworthy. That would be the next thing you write. Okay, I didn't really leave you a lot of room there. That's what you would put next. Okay, so then you put, true friends are hard to find. However, when found, true friends can be very rewarding. My definition of a true friendship is having a friend who is loyal and trustworthy. Okay, that's your introduction. Okay, make sense? So you would put a truism plus your thesis, and then that's your introduction. So it could be 1 to 3 sentences for your introduction. It doesn't have to be very long. Okay, and then you start working on your body paragraphs. Oops. Okay, now in a body paragraph, you have to have a topic sentence. What is a topic sentence? Anybody know? Okay, you start off with what you're about to talk about. It's kind of like the thesis statement for your paragraph. It's the main idea of your paragraph. Okay, so what is the main idea of our first paragraph going to be? I'm going to tear this apart it's going to be about what? Loyalty. Okay, so what does, and it needs to tie back to our thesis, which is our definition of friendship, right? So our first topic sentence needs to be something like, one very important aspect or part or trait or characteristic, lots of different words you could use, of a true friendship is what? Is loyalty. So everybody who reads our essay knows, okay, this paragraph is going to be about why loyalty is important. So one very important aspect of a true friendship is loyalty. Okay, and then we're going to include our supporting details. So going back to your bubble map. Okay. Friends should always, we can say stand up for each other. We can say have each other's backs. Whatever you want to say. I'm going to say stand up for each other. Doesn't really matter, but they kind of mean the same thing. Should always stand up for each other and support each other in both good times and bad. Or support each other through good times and bad, whatever you want to say. Okay, so our topic sentence, what are we talking about in this paragraph? Loyalty. Okay, and then why is loyalty important? Why is loyalty something that should be included in a true friendship? That's our supporting detail. This can be 1 or 2 sentences. I went ahead and combined them. So I just wrote it in 1. Okay, and then we're going to put our example. Okay, so let's tie in the outsider. So you want to make sure that you cite where this example is coming from. Okay, you could say something like, in The Outsiders. Okay, and make sure that when you use a book, what should you do to show that it's a book?
Put it in quotation marks.
Well, you should capitalize it, and then you should underline it. Books are underlined. If it was a poem or a movie, then you'd put it in, well, not a movie, a poem or a short story, you'd put it in quotation marks, but a book you underline. Okay. In The Outsiders, the greasers, I'm going to be more specific with my example than I was on my bubble map. Okay. So we're using the example about when Pony Boy gets jumped and the whole gang comes to his rescue. I'm going to say the greasers are always loyal to one another. Okay, I want to tie in our main idea of loyalty. Okay, for example, when Pony Boy gets jumped by the Socs, the whole gang comes to his rescue. Period. Okay, so we've already written our introduction and our first body paragraph. Everybody understand the process so far? Easy enough? Anybody have any questions about it? Okay, so far, here's what our essay would say. True friends are hard to find. However, when found, true friends can be very rewarding. Thesis. My definition of a true friendship is having a friend who is loyal and trustworthy. That's our introduction. Okay, first main paragraph. One very important aspect of a true friendship is loyalty. Friends should always stand up for each other and support each other in both good times and bad. In The Outsiders, the greasers are always loyal to one another. For example, when Pony Boy gets jumped by the Socs, the whole gang comes to his rescue. Okay, so we've got topic sentence, supporting detail, example. Okay, does it all tie together? Did we support our idea? Did we support why loyalty is important? Yes. Okay, so then we would go and do that for the second paragraph. Okay, so our second paragraph is going to be about what? Trust. I'm going to change colors here so that we don't get, just to make it a little bit more clear on mine. Okay, so our second paragraph should be about trust. So we want to make another topic sentence. Okay, so we said one very important aspect of a true friendship is loyalty. We could say what? Another important, let's use a different word besides aspect, characteristic of a true friendship is trust. Another important characteristic of a true friendship is trust. Okay, so then we need to put in our supporting details, which we have on our bubble map. We said trust your friends with your problems and your secrets. Trust your friends to always be honest. Okay, so we can say you should be able to trust your friends with all of your problems and secrets. Friends should also always be honest with each other. Okay, so our topic sentence, another important characteristic of a true friendship is trust. You should be able to trust your friends with all of your problems and secrets. Friends should also always be honest with each other. Okay. Then we're going to put in our example from The Outsiders, which was, the first one we mentioned was when Dally helps Johnny and Pony Boy when they stab Bob. And I also mentioned the one where Johnny tells Dally that he needs to treat the girls better. He was honest with him, is the point I'm trying to make there. Okay, we can go with either one. Oh, okay. We will pick up there tomorrow, and hopefully finish writing the essay. Put this up where you will not lose it.